welcome back to Litigation Help. My name is Heather Hui-Litwin, and joining me here today is Heather Douglas. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
So today we're going to talk about a couple of new developments in the Ontario court procedure in response to the COVID pandemic. And one is the electronic filing system, and secondly, we're going to talk about a document sharing platform called Caselines. So basically, I'm just going to start sort of giving a little bit of context to this. So in the old days, the traditional way, when you have a hearing coming up, you would submit your big, gigantic documents like this. And you would actually walk this in person and go to the courthouse, and then you would give them personally to the court counter. And that's how you actually file your documents at court. And now, of course, we're encouraging social distancing. So the courts have finally introduced a way for us to file your documents without having to go in person, and by sending electronic copies to the court. And secondly, the courts have introduced a way of the judge and the parties sharing their documents online using a program, like a software called Caselines. And this allows people to have actually a court hearing without anyone having to attend court in person at the courthouse. So these are really quite amazing developments. And so Heather, could you explain to us a little bit more about the filing system that the Ontario courts have introduced?
Yes, so the courts have allowed litigants to file their documents online. And now we're almost able to file almost anything related to a lawsuit at the Superior Court online. And this would be for claims over $35,000. Small claims court is a bit behind, but right now we're almost able to file anything online for in the Superior Court. So I'm going to take you to the website. I'm going to share the screen and give you a walkthrough about how to file online. Perfect. Do you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So you'll see that we're at the File Civil Case Documents online, and we're simply going to scroll down. There's lots of useful information, but just keep going. And to file your documents, you'll see this right here, this button.
Yep.
And you're going to need a OneKey ID account, a credit card, your documents in a PDF form. So I already have a OneKey ID, and we'll go there right now. Perfect.
Great.
So this will say, are you filing a statement of claim or notice of action?
Mm-hmm.
You should start here. And if you're filing something after a statement of claim subsequent to a notice of action, so these are like notice of intent to defend, these third party, fourth party claims, you can file that here. And civil submissions online, submit a civil document to request filing or issuance. So the first two are for types of documents that are more like pleadings and at the beginning of the lawsuit. After that, you're going to go to civil submissions online. And the rules of the civil procedure set out which one you're going to go under. And it will list the type of documents and which one goes to civil submissions online. And as a general statement, it's everything that's after the pleading stage. But that's a generalized statement and may not be true in your case. So be sure to check the specific rule, in which we will provide a link. So we'll start here, civil submissions online. We've already started a lawsuit. We're after the pleadings. Again, it will tell you what you will need. Civil court forms, make sure you're using the right forms. a certain type of browser, and so forth, what you need to know. It will kind of explain the process to you, and that it has to be, once you submit it online, it will still need to be approved for filing, and then you will get an email letting you know whether it's been approved or not.
Wow, so it's not a sure thing. You can't assume that just because you've submitted that it's approved and accepted.
Exactly. And
Wow.
they also say, you'll see here, you should not use the system if you need to file or issue a document that is 5 business days or less away from your hearing.
That's
So
good to know.
there's a little exceptions here or there.
Yeah.
But assuming everything is good and you've read the terms and conditions for using the portal, we'll begin the process. So
Right.
you put your email address. So if you're the lawyer,
Yeah.
put the lawyer's email address.
Right.
If you're self-represented, then you'll want to put your own email address.
Yeah.
Identify whether the documents to be filed are for a new proceeding or an existing proceeding. So usually if you're under this part of the portal, it's existing.
Right.
And then the court location, that will, if it's already started the lawsuit, you'll look for where the plaintiff has started it. So if your case is in Toronto, then you're going to pick Toronto. And usually the plaintiff will pick the area that is closest to the dispute. So if you live in Toronto and you had a disagreement with someone in Toronto, then you're probably in Toronto. If you have an issue in Guelph and you all live in Guelph, then you're probably at the Guelph courthouse. But the pleadings will let you know where the plaintiff has issued the claim. And that will be where the rest of the lawsuit is proceeding.
Right.
So I'm going to pick Toronto.
Yeah.
And you have a court file number, and that will be at the top of the page, of the front page of a document.
Right.
And you'll fill in the 14 digits, and then you'll upload your documents. And then you have to be ready to get your credit card ready to pay. So once you start adding, and then you'll see under here in this part of the portal, you can add affidavits. You can add a notice of change of lawyer. You can do an affidavit of service.
That's incredible.
You can even do some pleadings here as well. And you can do an order. Maybe you have a draft order to send to a judge. And it just, it keeps going and going.
Wow, it's really comprehensive now. You can,
really
even motion record, all that all that stuff. Okay.
Yes, and then I can see a lot of issues coming up around the amending of pleadings.
Right.
So let's say you're picking an amended statement of defense, cross-claim, and counterclaim.
Right.
You're going to file that.
Yeah.
But you're still going to have to wait for the court to let you know if it's going to be approved or not. Because maybe you're filing it and you're adding a party way after the limitation period, or who knows, there's little things that the court's going to look out for, and they might not accept the document that you're trying to file. But for the most part, it should be okay. And assuming I'd filled everything in correctly, you could submit it and move on to the next stage.
Right.
You'll see it tells me I haven't done it fully.
Right. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, and that's it for the portal. Like we mentioned before, there are different parts of the portal depending on what you're filing, but most things are going to go under the civil submissions online portal.
Oh, sounds good. Okay, that was really good. So that didn't seem too hard. Right? Okay. Next, I wanted to ask you to explain to us a little bit more about something called Caselines. Keep hearing about it. So could you sort of because when I think about online, all I could think about was that part that you just explained, which is filing documents online. So what is this extra thing I have to worry about? What is Caselines?
Yeah, so Caselines is a platform that we use for hearings. And once your material has been filed and approved by the court, it can then, once you're invited by the court. You will then file it on to the Caselines. And perhaps the word filing is a bit misleading, just uploading.
Uploading, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And it's not a filing platform at this time. It's really just intended for everyone at the hearing, the judge, the lawyers, all the parties, if you're self-represented and a self-rep, to have access to all of the material. And it's so you can follow along when you're at the hearing. And it can be used in a virtual setting, like remote hearings, but it's also intended to be used in person hearings as well.
Oh, that's really neat. Okay, so let me clarify this. So it means that even though we have filed our documents using that first portal that you mentioned, for Caselines, we have to do it a second time. We have to upload our documents. So the court doesn't do it for you, does it?
Exactly. You're going to have
okay.
to essentially file it twice. You're going to have to,
Yeah.
the first time you're really filing it, the court will approve it. You will have it entered into the court system.
Right.
The second time, that's really for the hearing. And it's for the judge, and they can access it. And at the hearing, they can make notes on documents. It's very interactive. You can upload different types of media to it. And it's a creative way for the judge and for the parties to refer to materials. And it's electronic. And it can be used, as I said, in person setting or also in a virtual setting as well. There is a hope that eventually everything will kind of be moved to one type of filing system. But for now, we're doing it twice.
Right. So the important takeaway, I guess, is that the first, what do I call it, Justice Service Online, that's not integrated right now with the Caselines. They're separate.
Yes, they're completely separate. And the courts are, I'm sure they're working on integrating them better. But for now, you file it online with the Civil Submissions online portal. And then you get invited by the court to file your material onto Caselines. And then that's really just for the hearing. And I would imagine it's also to help judges so they can work from anywhere. Like they can log on and review materials from home, as opposed to only having to go into an office and look at hard copies of motion records, transcripts, factums, whatever is being used at the hearing.
Oh, so that's really interesting about Caselines. So, okay, something just kind of popped into my head. Now, I noticed that at like sometimes at motion hearings or whatever, or trial hearings, sometimes counsel would introduce case law that maybe they have just kind of found like the night before, or whatever. And I have noticed that judges sometimes they do allow counsel to submit these last minute case law on the spot, so to speak. Now, with Caselines, would that still be possible?
Well, the Caseline system is supposed to be locked a few days before the hearing.
Wow.
So it wouldn't be possible. No, I don't think it would be, but I'm sure that lawyers will still find a way to bring important precedents and
Right.
law to the judge's attention.
Interesting. Okay, so one final, two final questions, and it has to do with self-represented litigants. So Caselines and the Justice Services Online, are self-represented litigants allowed to use these portals?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Everyone is welcome to use them, and you just need to set up your OneKey ID.
Oh, brilliant. And now,
file online.
Right. Now, I know some people are a little bit intimidated with technology, and actually some people they don't have laptops. Like I know some of, actually quite a few of my clients, they have cell phones and maybe a tablet, but not a lot of people have home offices. So I was just wondering, like, if you don't want to have your hearing virtually, do you have a choice? Like, how does that work?
Usually it is in the discretion of the court, the method of the hearing. Sometimes the court may invite submissions from counsel or the parties for their input on whether it would be in person or electronically or even by telephone. So there's all sorts of ways to have the hearing, or maybe it will just be in writing. The court might say, well, we don't need to have submissions on this orally. We'll just review the written material and make a decision based on the records in front of us. So that will ultimately be in the discretion of the court how they want to hear the matter.
Okay, that sounds really good. Thank you, Heather, for clarifying the recent developments on the online system. That was really good. Thank you, everyone, for watching. So what do you think about courts going online? Do you have any suggestions as to how our court system could be made, could be improved or made more accessible? Please feel free to comment below. And we hope that this video was helpful to you. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to click subscribe and also hit the bell so that you will be notified of our new videos. And we wish for everyone to stay healthy. Thanks, Heather. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.